What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Moth, and today I'm gonna hit y'all with my thoughts on this new G Herbo album titled Survivor's Remorse. Now, G Herbo is an underrated Chicago rapper with a solid catalog who has grown considerably as an artist and as a person since he came in the game at a very young age in the 2010s. He's also the most lyrical drill rapper to have emerged from out that Chicago drill scene. And with G Herbo's music, you know you will get a lot of introspection mixed with raw, gritty content. So this new project, Survivor's Remorse, is actually a double album consisting of side A, the Survivor side, and side B, the Remorse side, and the two were just released 3 days apart. It is a longer album with 25 songs lasting approximately an hour and 14 minutes. So with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track by track breakdown. The opener, FWN, stands out like most Herbo intros do. It's set to that 70s chipmunk soul production that reminds me of Jay-Z's You Don't Know. On here, he's bringing that ferocious energy and rapping like he has a point to prove. You can't really go wrong with Herb going off over this type of soul production. Track 2, Flashbacks, samples a portion of Kanye's Flashing Lights. So it's a polished, crisp, and mellow beat. And Jeremiah does his thing on the hook. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of Jeremiah's hooks, but he didn't drop the ball here. And G Herbo reminisces on seeing flashlights as a youth when he was running the streets wild. He also speaks on the pain that comes with fame. So as a whole, a solid record, not a standout, but I don't really have many complaints with it. Now, track 3A with Offset is an up-tempo banger, plain and simple. And I would say that Offset had the best performance in terms of flows, but right after we get Blues with Future, which had been released a while back, and it's pretty much your standard late night wavy trap record that Future would be featured on. These two last tracks, while not favorites, do show Herb's improvement in making bangers that are likely going to appeal to a wider audience. After this is Shade Room, where Herbo vents on the problems of fame and the hate and criticism he receives on social media, all of which is done over a high-strung and jarring beat. Herb raps, burnt out, but my day cool. Every day I'm on the Shade Room, see him hating, I can never lose. I ain't tripping, I just play it cool. So at least he has a positive mindset about all the negativity and the haters that he sees daily on social media. You know, he's not letting it destroy him. Following this is 4 Minutes of Hell Part 6, which is the 6th installment to his famed 4 Minutes of Hell series. Now, this one is set to a softer and weeping instrumental. G Herbo pours out his pain in true trenches rap fashion. He states, "They say thou shalt not kill, but that's bullshit. Kobe never killed shit." They hit him with a full clip. So he's reflecting on the unfair and cold nature of the streets that took his friend Kobe. But what separates this version slightly from the others in this series is that he does mention the success that he received. So there's a little bit of light at the tunnel. His visions appear to be a little less hellish. Track 7 is Real Rap with Benny the Butcher. And this is their 4th time collaborating. And this beat feels like a mix of old Rockefeller and something from an 80s film. I did enjoy their back and forth, but I thought Benny was the MVP in terms of the quote-worthy bars. But this one definitely had that Survivor's game-winning championship feel. Track 8, Paid, has this haunting late-night piano, and Herb paints a picture and goes in depth about street activities, and this has that wee hours of the morning, standing on a cold corner in Chirac with some black forces on. Whereas Shorty with Gunna is more of a wavy and slick commercial record. It is a relationship track that is easily Herb's best to date. I like the angelic keys and soothing synth melody, and Gunna did come through with a catchy hook as well. And I feel in the past Herb struggled a bit to deliver a good relationship track, but I think he found one here. Then the album shifts back into darker territory with After That, in which Herb talks about the get back and doing some spinning over a ghostly piano trap beat. The second to last song of side A is the very stellar Outside Looking In. It's an autobiographical storytelling record that shows G Herbo at his most focused lyrically and on top of a heartfelt soul sample, and it's easily one of the best written songs on the project. Then side A wraps up with Survivor's outro, and it's set to an urgent soul sample blended with elegant keys. Herbo admits to no longer writing because his emotions fluctuate so much that he's not the same person when he started to write the track, and also because he's no longer the same old Little Herb that he was then. But as a whole, it's a solid outro that sets things in motion for side B, the Remorse side. Now we kick off side B with Sleepless Nights. It has an ethereal and calming after the storm instrumental. Herbo does offer up some sobering thoughts reflecting on all the pain. He states, "It took me years to get here. I keep it real even when I'm lying. Never been a church kid, but I was preaching every line." Track 2 is History, produced by DJ L Beats, who blesses Herb with a tense and cinematic drill beat. These two never seem to miss when they link. And on this record, Herbo tells his war-torn story from beating the trenches to his triumphs in the rap game. And it is also on here where we get flashbacks a Lil Herb in terms of the flow and gritty production. And you can just envision a young Herb posted on that frigid Essex Block with a gray hoodie. Afterwards is Change, Gunshots, where Herbo talks about trying to change his life for the better. He states, "I'm trying to buy my block. I told the mayor we about expansion. This shit gotta stop." And even on the hooks, he asks, how are you going to expect change when you don't even want change? So those are some serious questions that you got to ask yourself. On this one, he explores more in terms of the mental health themes found on PTSD and even on 25, like recalling gunshots as a kid and how he should have stayed in the crib instead of being posted on the block. Then there is the single Me, Myself, and I with A Boogie. Now, it's the epitome of an introspective commercial track. I'm typically not big into A Boogie's hooks as they can be a bit formulaic, but he doesn't sound bad over this particular beat. And on here, Herb realizes that he can't live in Chirac due to all the grieving, and he talks about still waking up in chills and overthinking. Track 5 is Breathe Slow with Young Thug, who absolutely kills the hook, and I also dug the melodic acoustic guitar production, which was sonically pleasing. Herbo is basically cautioning the youth to breathe slow and to make wise choices when maneuvering in the streets. And it's in a vein similar to Kanye's Drive Slow, where he said, "You need to pump your brakes and drive slow, homie." The following, No Guts, No Glory, has an uplifting gospel sample. Now, this type of soulful production is basically a cheat code for G Herbo. On here, he's talking his talk while reflecting on what he had to do to make it here. Afterwards is the Highlight Machines with Conway the Machine. Now, this marks their first collaboration. It's set to a moody guitar riff. It's still mellow, but I thought their gritty bars complemented the smooth and psychedelic beat pretty well. Track 8 is Torn, which has a foreboding but solemn beat. It's this grimy, overcast production that also tends to work very well for G Herbo. And he offers up some chilling imagery like white tees turn to white sheets and witnessing so much death and ain't no rules, get a ref. There are some notable lines here, but I was somewhat on the fence regarding the hook, which reminded me a bit of something you would find on an Eminem album. However, the subsequent song, It's Something in Me, has an addicting soul sample that manages to be one of my favorite beats on the album. Now, I have to admit, I didn't feel his bars were up to par with the production, but I did mainly like this due to the aesthetic and the instrumental. Whereas track 10, Him, basically has the same sample that was used on Shine's More or Less. Another great beat that you can't go wrong with. And Herb talks about being that dude way before he set foot in the rap game back in 2010, where he knew he would always be rich. Then there is All That with Kodak Black, where we get this a frenzied trap instrumental, and a fantastic beat switch where Kodak slid and found a great pocket. It's definitely a dope instrumental from ATL Jacob and a solid performance from Kodak. Track 12, Remorse Outro, basically ties up the loose ends on this Remorse side. Over this endearing soul sample, Herbo talks about the loss of his brother, how that impacted him, and led to this survivor's remorse. Then the album wraps up with Letter to Juice, and it's a heartfelt commemoration to his friend, set to a psychedelic guitar strumming beat that I liked a lot, but the auto-tune Kid Cudi humming managed to ruin it for me. Overall, I give this project a rating of a strong 3.5 mics. Now, side B, I have at 4 mics. 4 mics for side B, and side A I put at 3.5, so that averages out to a strong 3.5 mics in total. So what I liked about this project was the variety that was offered and the versatility that Herbo showed. You had your fair share of bangers, introspective records, lit anthems, and even a relationship track that worked. The production was also a major strength, as I pretty much enjoyed every beat, much like his last release, 25. However, the main drawback for me was that sometimes his writing didn't appear as focused as past releases. The intensity and hunger was definitely there, but the bars I didn't feel were as consistently strong as on previous efforts. Don't get me wrong, it's a polished and ambitious release and an overall dope album. And we all know that it's not easy to construct double albums that play well from front to back. But this project did not have a lot of filler. I just think I would have enjoyed it even more had he made one album consisting of side B with just a few tracks from side A. But at the end of the day, it seemed like he had a bigger budget this time around, and he improved at making bangers and radio-friendly tracks while still remaining true to his gritty, pain-driven content. My favorite tracks include FWM, 4 Minutes to Hell Part 6, Real Rap, Outside Looking In, History, Breathe Slow, No Guts, No Glory, Machines, It's Something in Me, and all that. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but please be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. G Herbo, Survivor's Remorse 1.